This is another video that I'm going to do. Stuff pops up in my mind, and I also got a kind of reminder. I should have long done a video on this, but I got a reminder on Twitter by Benny here, and he discusses kind of what I discuss over the last like decade, really, and I'll go into detail on that. But let's first set the scene. Really, the point in what we want to talk about today is the whole starving artist stuff, and how a lot of artists has facilitated their own demise, and it's kind of been really a collective effort that they've all kind of dug themselves into, but a lot of them are too chicken crap to actually do something about it. And the reason why I'm inspired to do a video about it today is because despite dealing with it in other genres of entertainment, we dealt with it yet again with Isom. So let me set the scene here. I've been involved in arts entertainment, especially from the business side, since I was a teenager. You know, I grew up in a competitive like hip hop rap scene in Texas. You know, people still slanging mixtapes out of the trunk. And I learned more about economics and running the business doing that stuff than I ever learned at school or anything like that. Nonetheless, as I got older and you get to the more like professional level of like art and entertainment, I realized how many people just do things just to be doing things. And a lot of the artists are just going through the motions and none of it actually makes sense. And that's really what I ended up doing with a lot of my kind of growth in the entertainment sort of sector. And that is, I simply ask questions. You heard me talk about this before. I simply ask questions. Like, if I can't justify spending money on this, or I can't justify this, I don't give a crap just because everybody does it, or it's what they deem as the industry standard. If it don't make sense, it don't make sense. And I simply won't do it. And, you know, Benny here, he posts about the whole, like what he posts about right here. And he says, Eric DeJuly has been calling this out for the past several years. Most bands, even the very successful ones in the scene that are selling out tours, you aren't making any cash at all. They're broke. And I'm gonna just give it to you straight. I say this as a guy that's toured with a lot of these cats. These guys ain't got no money, right? Definitely in our scene, the metalcore scene, and what he's doing it was a article where you have Bad Omens, who I know, a lot of these guys that were certainly, when that band came up, we came up backwards, straight from the path. All of these guys are in the same scene as backwards floating in. And, they talk about how little money that they're making. And, I've been discussing this for the longest, but nobody wants to listen to the guy, especially because of my politics, but nobody wants to listen to the guy that's sitting over calling it for what it certainly is. And this is what it is. Your favorite artists in a lot of cases are broke. Period. I talked about this whole starving artist thing right here. I said, and I've been doing this since I was in FFTG, as far from the guys. Nobody listens because of the dopamine and industry standards. They facilitated an industry that has left them broke despite having literal millions of views, but are too chicken crap to do anything about it. Right here. This is the important part. I said, I remember saying that it was actually we Todd Ed. You know what that means, to be on tour without any sort of legitimate money. And I got so much backlash from all of these starving artists began to actually, and some of them actually began to brag about being stuck in like Arizona in a broken down freaking van as if it was just a sort of rite of passage. And this is all part of the starving artist sort of syndrome. Which exists, again, in so many different genres. I was doing, when I talk about Fire from the Guys, a lot of people don't know, like, I wasn't the first vocalist. I was the first, like, the vocalist that kind of, when we started getting a lot of the initial success that Fire from the Guys had got, like, that was me, because I took the band from being just like a deathcore band to a more metalcore band with singing elements, right? And then obviously once I left, they kind of continued with that sort of success. But I wasn't the first one, and I remember when we were like starting to see, success views on certain songs and yada yada, and I remember people being like, I put out a post. Wish I should have grabbed it for the sake of this video, and I was like, man, I don't see us touring really with any sort of out some legitimate money. It just doesn't make sense. And I remember getting so much backlash on that. People bragging about, oh, well, that's, you calling me elitist, all this other nonsense. Oh, well, that's, I used to tour with their old vocalists in the band, and we were out there stuck in Arizona with a broken down van. I'm like, you idiots are sitting here bragging about being broke. Y'all barely got enough gas money for the guarantees that you guys getting, and you bragging about it. But nobody's sitting here looking at it like, well, does this make sense? No, it does not. The fact that you can be in a band and have all of these different views and see the least amount of money as part of the project makes absolutely no sense. None of these guys are making monies from their record. None of them. None of them. They on some crappy deal that's probably like a 3-album, 4-album option deal. They're getting maybe 10% of the album sales. And again, like I said before, in the previous video, you don't get 10% from each album sale. Whatever they spent, because they own your music, whatever they spent on your project, be it in distribution, whatever it is that they spent for you to go pay to go to the producer or whatever, you have to make that back with your 10% before you ever see a dime on it. And this is why artists most definitely, for the most part, don't ever see a dime of their record. And they facilitated that, right? And going on these tours in front of, sometimes they can even be sellout tour and you ain't really seeing nothing from it. You got to split it among 5 ways. The venue's going, they want 20% merch, 20% of your merch, all this sort of stuff. None of it makes sense that the people that actually create the music make the least, and yet they go on with it. And all I did with Backwards, I just asked the question, why? None of this makes sense. Why? I remember being on one tour in particular with Backwards. It was like 2017, 2018. I can't remember one of those years. Bands that were bigger than us, and we had the best looking because we were in a Mercedes Sprinter. Decked out, bunks. We comfortable living. TV in the bad boy, and it's ours. Paid for cash money. And these guys in these busted up vans can't really get no sleep because they sitting there, got 6 guys packed up in their little van trying to lay down, go to sleep. And they looking at us like, how y'all afford that? We are bigger of a band than you. Well, you guys are in poorly economic situations and you did it yourself. And it's funny, all of these, they painted themselves in a corner because it really would require you to get the capitalistic mindset, being a business owner, to actually turn this crap around. But y'all definitely straight in the path. Y'all certainly wouldn't. Y'all ain't gonna do that. What's like, even if you read that article, Alex, who is a member of Backwards, talks about this as well in the post. Again, Alex, who's financial operations, that's the type of stuff I do. I get success and then I go hire my bandmates. Alex, who is the financial operations manager, also the main clean vocalist in Backwards. And he says, I love how Reynolds acknowledges how bad the scene is and then turn around and downplays his own gripes. No backbone, but they're too chicken crap, all of them for the most part. And they don't like me, so it's fine. I get to say that. You ain't got no money, you're broke. Nobody cares about the views and all that stuff that you get, and you ain't seeing a dime of it. It reminds me a lot of what we did with Isom as well. Remember when I talked about the similarities between the two industries, right? Comic book industry, music industry. It's a bunch of people that don't really know how the game works. And nobody bothers to actually ask questions for the most part. And the ones that do bother to ask the questions are the ones that are shunned by the industry. It's the same thing. Isom is $35. Good quality, printed in America, book. Okay? Right here. 96 pages. That's how much it costs. The price is the price, as I continue to say. Now, some people would like to think that it's too much. That's fine. If it's out of your budget, which is more so what that means, it is what it is. But this isn't some small book. This isn't some compilation of old printed works, which is funny. People say, oh, I can get a trade for $20. Okay, go get it. I don't know what to tell you. It's old reprinted material. Yeah, you should be able to get it for $20. If it was, you think I would sell, let's say we have it's a 3-part series basically with Isom, right? We got that we are going to be in part 2 on Isom number 2, right? Okay, so think about this. So let's say the next one's another 96 pages or whatever. We pushing close to 300 pages, 200 whatever pages for the entire. What you think I would sell each of that entire trade, right? Hardback, whatever it is. You think that I would sell that for whatever 35 times 3 years? Math ain't. I know a little bit of math. I need a calculator. You think I would sell it for that? Whatever that is? No. Idiot, it's reprinted information. So you can't point to like the Watchmen or something. Or I can get this amount of page. That's stupid. Or point to manga, right? Same thing. You have people, well, I can get this for $20 and it has more pages. Yeah, congrats. It also has no color. It also is what? You see how much smaller this is? Look, man, these are fundamental economics that maybe you don't realize as another artist because, you don't own the material and you don't have to really do it yourself. The price is the price. And I thought it was competitive. Definitely seeing what other people were charging in the indie scene for like half of the page count. You got folks charging like $25 for 48 pages. I'm like, all right, I got double the page count. Why on earth would I not charge this? I'm not even charging double. Now again, do I want to make sure that we can get the price down as we grow? Of course. Right? But this was our first book. I don't have printing deals like Marvel, DC, or Image, or anything like that. I don't have any of that. We paid for to put this into perspective, not just the book, which was printed here. So it's not Chinese printed. So I'm spending double of what the other guys are paying for their books anyway. But you got that, right? You also have to deal with the fact that all of our like other stuff that we did because we distributed. So I had to pay for the boxes that got made, those Rippaverse, beautiful Rippaverse boxes that got made. We had to do it that way. So the shipping is what it is. And, you know, all that to get it shipped and all that. In addition to like, you know, the shipping costs on Rippaverse.com, we got to spend money on all that sort of stuff, right? And I was like, all right, well, this is where we're floating at. We'll get it down when we start to be, we have the leverage, right? Now that we've, you know, put out, you know, have almost 49,000 orders, however many it was. Yeah, we got a little leverage now. So I get to go to the shippers and say, hey, man, you want the deal or not? You know what I mean? Let's get these prices down. Now we get to do that, but we couldn't do that before. Just like I'm paying basically the cost for the printing. It's just what it is. Now that people want our business, we got a little leverage. But the price is the price and it's competitive. Now you would have people, and you guys saw this, weirdos who, again, don't really care about the well-being of anybody over here at Rippaverse.com. And they're like, well, you know, so-and-so's charging this much. You guys, you overcharging doing all this. And there's other artists who ain't got no money sitting there telling me this. Some of these guys even being independent. You know what I don't have to worry about with Rippaverse? I don't have to worry about sitting here begging you guys to buy a product, right? So I can get it out of like I don't know what that dude. Well, I forget what that cat's name. We've covered him several times. Well, he wants you to support his business out of charity. Oh, I got a place that I'm holding the items, right? Storage unit, and I can't afford it. Please buy my books. Type stuff. Well, we don't got to worry about that because we charge what we charge. You know who else I ain't got to worry about nothing? My employees who are paid very well for what it is they do. The contractors who all worked on Isom 1 got their money and they got the money on time. They don't have to worry about that stuff because we charge what it is that we charge. I'm in the business of making money. I'm running a business. I'm not running something to signal to you guys to impress my peers who don't even understand fundamental economics either. So this is more advice for you guys. You know, who cares what the industry standard is, no matter what the art does? Look, I think a lot of y'all got common sense. Some of y'all don't. It is what it is. But a lot of y'all, definitely people that watch me, lovely supporters of the Rippaverse, y'all got common sense, and a lot of y'all are aspiring artists. Look at the industry. And as you start to grow and you start to see success, start asking questions. And if the damn questions, the answers don't make sense, right? When you find out what the industry standard is, you find out what everybody else is doing. And if that doesn't make sense for your business, don't do it. Don't feel like you should be obligated to do it simply because everybody else is. Because they just going through the motions and they also eating their cat's food because they ain't got no money. So what are you going to do? Pivot. That's what you do. You do the smart thing. Who cares what they're going to say? The price is the price. You got all these starving artists, right? I was so sick of this starving sort of artist syndrome where you got all these folks who think they should get a pat on the back because they struggle. No, you a dumbass for struggling. Let's make this 100% clear. You're a jackass for struggling. You're getting screwed over, rather, by whatever company that owns your material, and y'all sitting here bragging about being broke. Jackass. So you stupid. You should be mocked, shamed, and laughed at in the fact that y'all have facilitated an industry that left all these creatives broke. And then when you see someone else making a little money, you want them to try to get the price down to where you at and you struggling. You idiot. Why would I do that? Like I said, if anything, you broke losers should be charging what I'm charging, not the other way around. The price is the price. And that's what it is. And don't be ashamed if the customers, this is what 49,000 different orders said, that they did not mind paying what they paid for whatever product they got from the Rippaverse. That's all that matters. Not some crack smoking leftist who has no idea how the industry even works, right? You have other artists bitching at us, talking about it's overpriced, may work for Marvel, may work for DC. You don't know Jack Diddley about Jack Diddley. You don't know nothing about nothing. Your money, you get your money, you contracted. You ain't a business owner, fool. You don't know nothing about nothing. But don't have these weirdos have you sitting here leaving money on the table. Don't leave money on the table. That's the advice that I'm giving you for this video. Don't leave money on the table. Get your money. You don't want to screw over your customers, right? You want to make it as affordable as it possibly can, but the goal is to make the money. You should be comfortable. If you got thousands upon thousands of people that like, even hundreds of people that like your stuff, you should be eating off of that. You should be comfortable off of that. And don't let nobody else tell you different. That's all I'm saying, man. The price is the price. And as you ask more questions, and it's not just with this, it's about so much, dudes. You're going to ask, why is it like that? And as you start to ask follow-up questions, the answers won't even make sense. And you're left with two different options. One, do the stupid thing that you can't make sense of, or do something else. And yes, it may be unorthodox, but that's the beauty of the decentralized sort of parallel economy. And that maybe the way that I did it ain't gonna be maybe the nitty gritty of it all, right? May be different. The way we went about our printing may be different. The way we went about our boxes, we got our own original boxes made here by someone that's in Dallas, right? So we got that taken care of here. Maybe it doesn't make sense for you. Maybe you should go to Gemini route, whatever it is. Just ask the question and make it make sense. Don't go in it thinking that you have to be broke. I'm not saying that you may make millions and millions of dollars on your first project. No, you shouldn't even anticipate doing that. Hell, I didn't anticipate making 3.7 million, but you certainly shouldn't anticipate being going broke over this. It is a risk. I took a big financial risk doing what it is that I'm doing. But as I'm assessing the market, I did what made sense. And that's why it came together in the way that it did. Because I bothered to ask the questions. So ask questions. And if it don't make sense, don't do it. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, Isom #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.